Hey, what's up you guys, it's Connor, and today I'm going to be doing a book review for The Inquisition by Taran Matharu. If you guys don't know, I signed up to be a part of BookTube Tours, which is being run by Grace from Love and Dim Books. I'll leave links to her channel and her blog where she explains what BookTube Tours is. It's basically where booktubers sign up, and then we can sign up for individual book tours, and then the publishers will send us a book in exchange for participating in the tour. So I signed up to do a video review for today, so that's what I'm going to be doing. This is not sponsored or anything, but I did receive the book from the publisher for free. So if you guys don't know, The Inquisition is the second book in the Summoner series, the first one being The Novice, which I read earlier this year and enjoyed, but I had a few problems with it, which I will talk about in a little bit. But I did a miniature review for this in one of my wrap-ups, so I'll leave a link in the card symbol to this miniature review as well as this miniature review if you just kind of want my surface thoughts, but if you want my in-depth thoughts, stick around. So if you guys don't know, the Summoner series is about a boy named Fletcher who's living in a small town at the beginning of the first book with an adopted father because he was orphaned as a baby. He was just abandoned in front of their town, and this one nice gentleman decided that he would take in Fletcher and raise him as his own. Eventually, Fletcher finds out that he is able to summon what's called demons, but these are not real demons. Not like witchcraft demons or like hell demons. These are familiars that are companions to the people that are able to summon them, and they form friendships and relationships with the people that summon them. So they have like a two-way communication thing between the demon and the summoner. And because he's able to summon demons, he goes to this mage school to learn how to control his magic and to use it and to help humankind because they're fighting a huge war against the orcs who have been invading the southern parts of their land. I ended up giving the first book 3.5, 4 stars, somewhere in there. I had a fair number of problems with the way that Fletcher was kind of wishy-washy with some of his morals and stuff like that. But in this book, literally everything that I had a problem with in the first book was fixed. Within the first 100 pages, it was incredible. I will admit it was incredible. I thought going in that I was going to be kind of wary about this book, and then right from the get-go, stuff starts getting corrected back to how Fletcher was originally. So I would kind of consider this middle grade young adult, like a hybrid in between there, so it could be read by either group. And one of the big things in middle grade is loyalty. There's so many books where the main characters are super loyal to a fault almost. And so Fletcher is one of those characters that is super loyal. But in the first book, he kind of doesn't stay loyal to certain people, and so I had a big problem with that. And then he gave Fletcher consequences for that in this book, and I loved that. And another problem I had was that Fletcher wasn't caring about his adopted father after he leaves the town very much, and I was just really confused on why he just did not care about his dad all that often. I think he mentions his adopted father like once or something after he leaves, which was concerning for me, but then in this book he goes back and he fixes it. And Fletcher starts to have those, you know, normal feelings that a young boy would have being separated away from his father figure. And I think that's something that this book does really well, is preventing plot holes. Every time I was asking myself the question, well, why doesn't this just happen? Or why doesn't this character just do this or this? And then everything is solved. He would write in basically the reason why that wouldn't work. And I thought that was really funny because it was like a game where I was trying to find a plot hole for some reason and he was filling it every single time. Another thing I liked about this was that the characters are realistic in the fact that they focus on the things that are important and they push off things that are not important for the situation. So the characters don't focus on romance when they're in the middle of a battle. I have a big problem when books do that, and this one does not have that. So the characters are definitely logical and realistic in how they approach situations, and so I really liked that, and I thought that that was well done. I think one of the main prominent things about this book is that it is so compelling. I could not put it down. I read it pretty much all the way through. I think I just stayed up and read the whole thing. I loved it. I read it so fast. I think I started reading it at like maybe 8 p.m. and then I just stayed up all night and read the whole thing because it was that compelling. Every single chapter ends on like a baby cliffhanger, and so it just keeps you going. you just read and read and read. I read it 4 hours straight, and I usually take breaks in between reading. I'll read for like 40 minutes or something and then take a break, and then I'll come back and read for another 40 minutes or something like that, but I just straight through. And I think that's in part due to the plot. The plot takes the story in totally different directions than the first one, and so it keeps it really interesting. I'm going to keep this spoiler free, so I don't really want to go into too many details of the plot, but just know that I found the plot very compelling, very intriguing. Everything that was happening was really interesting, and I think that the things introduced in the characters that we meet and the different sides of the world that we explore were so interesting. I was really curious about those in the first book, and so I was glad we got to kind of see some of those things and some of those relationships and kind of some of those interactions between different races in this book. You definitely get answers to other questions that you have, and we get answers to questions that I didn't think were going to be answered in this book, so I thought that was really cool because I was gonna expect it in the next book, but it was given to me early, so I was like, oh dang, this is awesome. But then it gives you a jillion more things to think about and want to know, so I just need the third book very quickly right now in my hands. And I think my favorite thing about this series and this book as well is just the magic system. I just find the magic system so cool. I just love the fact that they can summon all these different animals and they have these mental connections with their animals, and they can take different attributes from their animals and use them, and they just have so many different aspects of the magic system that I just love. I just really like learning each and everything about this world and the magic system, and I just want to be able to summon demons so badly in my life. I have Nook, so he's basically one. He could be my Canid if he just had another pair of eyes. I would say the magic system is kind of a mixture of His Dark Materials by Philip Pullman, where they have their like consciouses in a physical form, if I'm getting that right. I have not read that series yet, but that's kind of the idea, that they have these animal extensions of themselves and Pokemon, because they can kind of put the demons away and then bring them back out, and put them away and bring them back out whenever they need to. And so I really just love it. I just love it. That's it. Obviously, if you couldn't tell, I ended up giving this book 5 stars, so it went from 3.5s to 5. I've never had a series do that before. It was such a pleasant surprise, and I got in a huge book hangover because of this book, and I started reading all these little novellas that Taran has written. So yeah, definitely recommend the series. Definitely check out the Novice. There's a giveaway for this book, but I forgot to say that in all the other ones, but I remembered in this one. So I will leave a link down to the giveaway down below where you can enter and hopefully win a copy of the Inquisition for yourself. If you're kind of curious about the series, but you are not sure if you want to go all in, there's part of the first book on Wattpad. If you want to sign up for that, it's free, so you don't have to pay or anything. And then they also have novellas for the series on there, like complete novellas. The prequel novella to the series is on there as well, which I think does a good job of kind of setting up the world if you want to check that out before. Although I do recommend reading it after you read the second book, because you'll start making a lot more connections. And there's also a short story called Rory, or like Summoner Rory, and it is one of his classmates in the first book, how he became a mage and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, just read the book. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I also forgot to mention that this book came out yesterday, so definitely you can go pick up your copy anywhere because it's amazing and will probably be there. So yeah, definitely recommend it. This video is already really long. If you liked it, please give it a big thumbs up and comment down below if you've read The Novice, if you're curious about reading the series now. If you have read the series, what would your demon be? Because I just want all of them. I want all the demons. And I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!